JJ the CPA here. Hope you're doing well. Hey, I am en route to our next reality show location, but I wanted to do a quick video. Everybody's buzzing about this awesome possibility of PPP Flexibility Act. And I've already had a
Say
couple
4
of
minutes via North
emails
3rd Avenue.
related to this, where people are maybe already assuming that it's in law. So the House has passed it. I've waited until this late afternoon to see if the Senate was going to do anything about it. And sometimes Congress is
In 2.8 miles, turn right onto West Plum Street.
7 days a week, okay? But the Senate hasn't done anything on it. And so the thing to keep in mind is until the Senate votes on it, and then of course until Trump signs it into law, we're still waiting. And I know that the House has put it to a certain number of weeks. The Senate is thinking less. I do think there's a great possibility of there being some of this quote-unquote flexibility for PPP, and that flexibility mostly being around, instead of 8 weeks to spend the money, you would have longer than 8 weeks. So the Senate is zeroing in on a shorter period of time for whatever reason. The House has set a period of time, and quite frankly, it's not even
In 1 mile,
worth
take exit
trying
16
to
onto Washington Avenue.
determine what it's going to be or how it's going to work until it's put into law. So that's why I was waiting to put a video out just to see if the Senate was going to do anything. So stay tuned. I do really feel like there's going to be some flexibility added to this in some way, shape, or form.
Use the right lane to take exit 16 onto
that
Washington Avenue.
It is also going to be that there's going to be a second round of stimulus. So stay tuned for both those things, as well as any other things that are going to be involved in this PPP Flexibility Act. Just know, and you know this, right? The House passes
Take the exit, then turn left.
then you've got to have the Senate pass it, or vice versa, and then you got to have the president sign it into law. So everybody seems to be on the same page that it makes a
In
lot of sense.
1.6 miles, take
at
exit
this
14 onto
standpoint.
West Main Street.
It makes a lot of sense at this standpoint that a longer period of time needs to be allowed to be able to spend the PPP funds. Because if you remember, when this was signed into law, the CARES Act that included the PPP, loans, it was signed into law March 27th. Of course, they expanded that later into April. But if you remember back in that time, really, I think everybody thought we would be back open by mid-April. So obviously that hasn't happened. And so there's a lot of confusion over if employees should be on PUA.
Stay in the middle lane.
Should you be paying your employees if you're open or not? So long story short, I'm expecting some flexibility. We just don't know what it is yet. So let's just wait and see what's put into law. Wait and see what the stimulus is. In the meantime,
Use the right lane to take exit 14 onto West Main Street.
What you want to continue to do is exactly what you've already been doing. So spend it in the same manner. Don't change what you're doing, because there's always the possibility that it just stays as is. Or a lot of times,
Take the exit, then turn left.
a lot of times when I'm dealing with tax law, which a lot of this it feels like tax law, but a lot of times when I'm dealing with
In 2.4 miles,
law,
take exit 12 to merge onto US 70 east towards Hugo.
I would turn this off, but it's on the same phone I'm doing this video on. And I'm in Oklahoma. The roads aren't the best. Long story short, what I'm trying to say is that there definitely is going to be some flexibility, but it could be that it's flexibility for businesses that have under
In
a certain
1.9
number.
miles, take exit 12 to merge onto US 70 east towards Hugo.
It might be that there's flexibility for employers that have, under a certain number of employees. It might be that there's flexibility that has other caveats on it. So, point is, I'm hoping that in the next couple of days, early next week, we have more information. So sit tight. As soon as we do, I will be putting out other videos related to that. In the meantime, I've got a number of new videos out related to PPP forgiveness. And really the ones that I've put out, there are a few of them that are talking about the 8 weeks, but the videos that I've put out, if you'll notice, I've been a little reserved in putting out a ton of videos because I knew that there would probably be some things like this, further SBA guidelines that will be coming out to be expected, other FAQs from the SBA. But the videos that I've been putting out,
stay in the middle lane.
If there's any tweak in this flexibility, my guess is it'll just be changing the calculation, that instead of 8 weeks, it's a longer period of time. But let me just tell you this. When you look at the law that's in play now, when you look at the rules, you look at the FAQs.
Use the right lane to take exit 12 to merge onto US 70E east towards Hugo.
If you're looking at all of those details and you kind of see the direction that it's going,
take the exit.
I still really feel like there's going to be an 8-week period that you have to choose. We'll see. So basically,
in 1 mile, turn left onto Choctaw Road towards Rural Enterprises of Oklahoma, Inc.
Basically, we've got some flexibility that's coming up, but stay tuned. Today's Friday. It is the 29th of May. So if you're watching this video later, be sure to watch others. And then, hey, I'd love it if you'd subscribe. And then don't you ever forget, you've never met a CPA quite like me. All right, hey, have a great one.